Hey, Lucy.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good.
All right. So let's get this started. I'm actually really excited for this one just because the two others, obviously, Shawan and Jordan, both played with the club for a while,
Hmm.
and I know you came in the club in 16U, so I'm looking forward
Yeah.
to this one. So quickly, just a brief introduction, guys. This is Lucy Glen-Carter. She currently plays at Acadia, which is in Nova Scotia,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
So Lucy joined the club when she was 16U. That year in 16U, they were able to win 16U and 17U provincials. They were able to get a bronze medal at nationals, and then that summer you played on Timo and you were middle, correct?
Yes.
Then Lucy's 17U year, they were able to come second at provincials, third at nationals, and you were also on the kind of like the, I don't know what it would be called, but like almost like a startup for Canada Games, I guess
Yeah, it was like the
it
Summer
was.
and games, like a Teamo cycle. Yeah.
Okay. And then your 18th year, you guys won obviously nationals, which was awesome. You were part
Mhm.
of the Canada Games team, and you were also the national MVP that year.
Yes.
And then getting into your university stats, first year you were a first team AUS All Star.
Mm-hmm.
Second year you were first team AUS All Star, and then this past season you were a first team AUS All Star as well as a first team All Canadian.
Yeah.
So congrats on that. That's awesome.
Yeah. Thank you.
And I think the first ever Pakmen girl athlete to ever be on the first team All Canadian
Yeah, and I
as
think
well.
Caitlin was also on the first team, so me and her together.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll just get right into the questions. So how did you start playing volleyball?
So I started when I was, I think, 14. It's actually such a weird story. There was a strike in the elementary school system, so the teachers weren't allowed to do any like extracurricular stuff. And me, I played every single sport that was out there. So having this like void after school, I couldn't do that. So I started looking at just any outside school programs that I could. And there was this local club called Leaside, which everyone knows. So I reached out to them and asked if I could come to one of their tryouts. And it goes from there. I joined that team and I've been playing since.
Right. So given obviously playing from 14U to obviously 18U,
Mm-hmm.
what would be your favorite memory from club?
Winning nationals for sure. I think that was something that we've been trying to do for the past 2 seasons, and in 18 we finally got it done. So that's probably one of my best memories.
For sure. And it probably was probably the most important year to win, right? If anything.
Yes, for sure.
And then kind of just quickly, I want to get into the Canada Games briefly. What would you say your favorite memory was there? Because obviously you're playing with girls that you've competed against your whole life, right?
Yeah, yeah. So Timo's interesting because you play against each other for the whole club season, and then the summer you get together and you train together, and you have to learn how to play with them. So I think this group of girls, honestly, we've been playing together for the past 3 summers, so we knew each other pretty well. I think my best memory was there's a lot. I think honestly, just the training sessions and spending time after, just hanging out with all of them. I think that's what made it.
Right. And then in speaking, I spoke to Tyler Robinson, your coach in 16U and 17U, I believe, as well.
Yeah.
So he had a lot of positive things to say about you. He said that you were a very versatile athlete and that you were determined to get better at passing. And I want to get into that a little bit later on.
Yeah.
So in terms of your determination, what would be kind of like your mindset? Because obviously it's like not all athletes are like can come across as determined, right? So
Yeah.
what would kind of be the mindset there?
I think for me, so I lived in Toronto, but I trained at Pakmen, which is in Mississauga. So I drove an hour each night to train. And in my head, I was like, if I'm spending this much time traveling just to play with those girls, why not try to be the best athlete I can be? And I love the sport so much. And when you love a sport, that kind of drives you to be the best you can be.
Right.
So having just that mindset for me.
Okay, and so just kind of getting onto that mindset. So you moved. So you started off playing middle
Mm-hmm.
when you first got to the club,
Yeah.
and then I think your each new year you transitioned to right side.
Yeah, it is 17-ish. Like I was playing middle and right side in my 17 year, and then 18U I transitioned directly to right side.
Right, and then now in university you're playing on the left, correct?
Yes.
How were those transitions? Because obviously, like to go from middle to left side, right? You're going from a position where you don't pass at all to then the position you're passing every time.
Yeah, it was difficult for sure. But I hated getting libbed off. Like I loved passing, I loved defense. And even though that's not really what I'm known for, it is what I love. Like just digging someone in the backcourt gives me such a thrill. So I think getting lived off, I wasn't enjoying. So I needed to find a way to stay on the court for all 6 rotations. And the transition to the right side just made sense for me at the time, but it was pretty difficult. And then my transition from right side to left side I found it pretty good. I had a lot of really good coaches who helped me through it, and it's basically the same thing. So
For sure. And so I've spoken to Tyler on the phone, and then I've had Mike Albert as a coach. And one thing Tyler said was that you always knew that you were going to be an outside.
Yeah.
Where did that kind of come from?
I think honestly, like, I love playing 6 rotations, and that's where it came from. Like, I knew I wanted to be on the court for a full game.
Right.
And I just love everything. I love passing. And not a lot of people say that, but like, I love passing. I love defense. And I think that's what it came from.
For sure. And so I've had Mike as a coach. Mike Albert last year was our kind of came in and helped out at practices once or twice a week. So my experience with him was awesome. I absolutely loved him. I thought he was amazing technically. I wanted to kind of get your experiences with how you thought things were with Mike and Tyler.
Yeah. Well, Mike, I loved. We kind of had the same attitude and mindset towards everything. He really let me figure out myself what I was doing wrong. I'm not the type of athlete who every single time I do something wrong, I need to be told. I like to figure out by myself, and then if I need help, I'll go ask. And Mike really gave me that trust of letting me figure things out by myself.
Right.
And I think just like the trust on the court, like if I messed up or I made a mistake, he knew that was only going to be one, and the trust to keep me on as well.
Right. And then how about Tyler?
Yeah, me and Tyler, we really just love to compete. We really love to win, and I think that's how we came together, that wanting to win every drill in practice and win every game, and that determination to just like get out there and go. I think that's where me and Tyler really bonded.
Right. Okay. And then I guess kind of moving forward, I want to talk about your 18U year a little bit. So obviously, like you guys didn't win 18U provincials, right? And I know talking to some of the girls on your team, they would say that kind of stung a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
How did that kind of spark your run at nationals? Like, how did that come to be?
I think for our whole 18U season, we knew that we wanted to win provincials, but in the back of our head, our drive was for nationals. We wanted to peak at nationals. Provincial was just for us another tournament along the way. None of us had won a national championship, so I think that's really what our 18U year was about. Right. And then obviously provincials, things didn't go our way. We didn't play our best game. And I think after that, our practices got harder. We got more competitive, and we really like sunk into needing to win nationals, and that's where it came from.
Right. So there was kind of that urgency to win, right?
Yeah.
And then obviously, when you look back at your 18U team, you guys had a lot of talent, right? Looking back at how successful all the girls have been playing club, what was that atmosphere like at practice?
Oh, it was amazing. We had so many amazing athletes, and I think every single practice was competitive. You had to earn your spot on that court. But going along with that, we did win a lot, and with winning comes fun. So I think every practice was just so much fun due to that.
Right.
But just training with that amount of talent made everyone else better.
And so for your 18U team, I think you guys had a lot of girls come, right? That 18U year as well. You had a couple of new faces. How was that transition like at the start of the year? Like, because obviously you guys, I assume you guys didn't gel really right away. How long did that take, and what was that like?
Well, we had 4 people come up with us. So me, Caitlin, Julia, and Alicia all came up from our 17 team, and then everybody else joined on. Right. It was interesting at the start because when you come from a team where you are the top athlete on that team to coming to a team where everyone's at that high level, it's very difficult to figure out what kind of role you should play. So it was interesting at the beginning because we all really didn't know how to gel with each other, how to play with each other. Right. But when we got playing and we got to winning, honestly, and we found out that it didn't matter who was getting the ball and that everyone could contribute at any point in the game, that's really when it sunk in and we figured out who we were.
Right. And it must have been fun, though, also, even probably just for your setter, right? Having that many options and being able, like, if someone's not having a good game, you've got, like, 3 or 4 other hitters that can get the job done, right?
Exactly.
That's awesome. And kind of just going back, so you said that you kind of came to the club from Leaside when you were 16. What kind of sparked that transition?
Well, I was playing in my 15U year in nationals, we're in Sherbrooke. And for that whole season, we were playing against Pakmen. We were playing against all these other Toronto GTA-based teams.
Right.
And I knew quite a few girls on that Pakmen team already. So actually, the coach who was at the time, who was Caitlin's dad at the time, asked me if I wanted to come play for them. So then that summer, we all played Region 5 together, so I got to know them a lot better.
Right.
And then at the end of the summer, because I don't drive, so me and my dad had to sit down and have that conversation, and I was like, do I want to spend 2 hours in a car just to go train with this group of girls for 2 hours 3 times a week? Right. And we made that decision, and that was that.
And did you play any beach kind of growing up?
I played beach when I was young, like 14, 15. But then for the rest of the summers, I was playing with Team O, so that took up most of the summer. And then that last month of summer, I really needed a break from volleyball to get healthy again, so I didn't really play beach.
Yeah, because for when we were 14U, I think we had the Ontario Summer Games as well, and I found that in beach kind of brings like all the athletes kind of closer together, right?
Yeah.
So maybe I wasn't sure if maybe something like that maybe also brought a little bit of a bond with some of the girls that were maybe on the Pakmen team.
Yeah, I'd say maybe for sure. I know I lived really close to the beaches, so I went down there and I watched all the tournaments. I hung out with them, and a lot of them did play together, so I'd say that really bonded them as well.
Right. And so I guess you got to know them in being there, right?
Yeah.
So one thing I think that's really underrated is obviously the transition from playing club volleyball to then going to university, right? Obviously, I think everyone hits harder, right? The serves are faster, right? The blocking gets better.
Yeah.
How did you find like your transition going from university to club, or club to university, sorry?
It was hard. The game is a lot faster at university than it is at club, and everyone's at that high level. But I do think my 18U team and the talent we had on that team really prepared me for the challenge that I had at university.
Right.
So I'd say it was a minor jump, but it wasn't huge. I didn't feel out of my place at university.
Right. Okay. And yeah, I guess that's kind of evident because you had obviously a successful year.
Yeah.
So typically, like, you don't really see a lot of Ontario athletes going to play, right?
Yeah.
So like, how was that decision kind of made? How did that come to be?
Yeah. Well, I knew that I wanted to play university ball, and that was like my first priority. And I definitely was looking at universities in Ontario, but I've been playing with girls for the past 5-6 seasons. I knew university coaches from Team O, so I knew that group of people, and I really wanted to get out of that and branch out and play with new girls and be coached by new people. And I saw this University of Acadia, which I go to now. I saw their kinesiology brochure online, and right now I'm specializing in athletic therapy through kinesiology, which is what I want to do after I graduate. So I saw the program, and I reached out to the coach, and I went on my recruiting trip to Wolfville, Nova Scotia, which is a tiny town in Nova Scotia, and I signed 2 days later, and it's honestly the best decision I've ever made.
Right. And I just want to get into that because obviously the lifestyles out east compared to here are very different, right? Especially because you're saying that you live in Toronto, right? So it's maybe a little bit more higher volume. What's that difference like? Obviously, living a lot quieter there.
Yeah, it's very much slower paced for sure. It's not the hectic city that I was used to.
Right.
But there's such a community out here, and everyone knows each other, that you walk down the street and you know every single person who you walk past. Right. And I think that's what I love about it so much, how much you can get involved with the community and then help them, and them come to all your games and support you. I think that's what I love so much. Yeah,
because I've heard that that everyone in the community kind of out east, like everyone in the community kind of goes to support whatever university it is that's in their area. So I guess the atmosphere there must be pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really great.
So I'm just going to get into numbers here because, like I said last week, I'm really big on numbers.
Yeah.
So obviously you've had a lot of success, but this past season, some of your numbers were pretty impressive. I took a look. So you led the league with first in kills with 247. You were first in the league with kills per set with 3.53 kills per set. You were first in total points with close to 300, and then you were third overall in hitting percentage, hitting .228. So why do you think you had such a successful season?
So last summer, I had to decide whether to stay in Wolfville and train with my coach and with my strength and conditioning coach and with some of the girls, or go back to Toronto and maybe play in the one league or go back there. And I decided that I needed to stay in Nova Scotia so I could help the little parts of my game.
Right.
So we spent a lot of the summer working on shot selection, working on footwork for passing, like working on the very, very little tiny aspects that you need to. And I think that transitioned to my overall play throughout the season, which really helped me out.
Right. And so one of the questions actually that I had was, so I'm a lib, so I don't really know about, or no, I know about hitting, but I'm not good at it. But what's kind of your thought process in terms of like when you see a blocker?
Well, our setter's very good at giving us isolations and one-on-ones when we get a good pass. And she has all the credit there because that's her job and she gives us the best opportunity to. But I really try to not be scared of the block. It's not something that you should be worried about. You need to use it or hit over or cut around it. So for me, I think the biggest thing is just not being afraid of it and knowing how to use it at the right time.
Right. Okay. And then I guess kind of moving forward, so going back to your determination at passing, right? So I think that's one thing that every volleyball player can get good at, right? You can never be too good of a passer. What would be some key kind of focus points that you look at when passing?
For me, so I love to hand pass. If I can hand pass, I will. I will step up to the attack line and wait there, and they'll serve, and I'll try to pass everything with my hands.
Right.
So that for me is my biggest thing. I need strong hands to just push up. But when I do pass with my platform, I think getting my shoulders around the ball, making sure I'm not reaching out so it doesn't ricochet is most important to me. But also coming from a teamwork thing, our team is really good at moving together. So two passers don't want to be colliding together. No. So if I say mine and I shift left, the person beside me is also going to give left and give me space to pass as well. So I think that's super important.
Right. And then, so going back to kind of, so you played with the club obviously from 16U to 18U, and then you guys played the Hurricanes in the national finals. Would you say there was kind of like a rivalry there? Because I know you guys obviously both had really good teams.
Yeah, for sure. I think that was the team. It was a while ago now, but I'm pretty sure that was the team that we played in most of our provincial and national finals or semifinals, and which way. So I think that was always the team that we had to beat if we needed to medal or if we wanted to win. So I think that was probably it.
And then given that you guys had girls come that 18U year, what was that like? Like, were they able to kind of adjust to that rivalry, or was it something that they kind of took time to get used to?
I think Ontario is very small for volleyball, and everyone really knows who's rivals with who. Yeah. So I think everyone knew that they were a big team. But honestly, in our 18U year, we really didn't care about who we were playing because we knew we were good and we knew what we needed to do to win. Right. So at that point in our careers, we didn't really care who we were playing.
Right. And then I guess for you, so you said that you're in the kinesiology program there at school.
Yeah.
So I just kind of wanted to ask you, so what would be some future goals for you?
Well, it's difficult to say now. We don't know what's going to happen next year with school or anything that's going to happen with our season. So I do have 1 or 2 more years of eligibility if I do want to play a 5th year or not. Athletic therapy is one of my passions. I do love it. I love what I study. So I think that's going to be part of my career at some point down the road. But I want to try to live out my volleyball career as long as I can, as long as my body holds up. Like, it's what I love to do. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and then I want to dive deeper into you guys winning 18U nationals. I think winning 18U nationals is a big deal, right? Regardless of if it's on the men's side or the women's side, but especially looking at the women's side, right? There's so many teams.
Yeah.
So maybe you can talk me through kind of like that experience on the tournament itself.
Yeah. Well, the past 2 seasons we'd lost in our semifinals. So in our 16 year, we lost in our semis and got 3rd. In my 17 year, we lost in the semis, got 3rd. So I think in the 18U year, we all really were just so determined to win and get that gold medal. But it's interesting because you have to play 3 games the first day and then 3 games the second day, and then it's playoffs. So it's a higher volume than we're used to.
Yeah.
So I think what was important for us was getting games done in 2 sets. We really didn't want to push that 3rd and play any extra volleyball that we had to. So making sure that we do bring our A game to every single game so we can get it done quick so that we can let our bodies heal was super important for us.
Right.
And then just that mindset of this is their last shot to win nationals, like why not give it everything as well?
For sure. And then, so you guys had your nationals at Alberta, right?
Yeah.
So what was that atmosphere like? Because obviously you're playing in a bigger gym,
Yeah.
national finals, right? I'm sure there was quite a few people.
Yeah.
What was that atmosphere like?
It was amazing. Well, so only our finals was played in the big gym. All of our other semis and matches towards the finals were played in the smaller gyms.
Right.
The smaller gyms were hot and humid and flooded with people. So when we got into the open space in the bigger gym, we really had to adjust. So we actually, I don't know how I remember this, but we actually sat in the gym watching games before our game so we could watch how the ball moves and adjust to the bigger space.
Right.
And I think that really helped our team. But it was amazing. We had teams from all across Canada watching us, and all of our parents came out. It was amazing.
Yeah, no, that would be awesome. Just even watching like national finals last year and the year before for HB, right? It just looks like it's a great experience.
Yeah.
And then moving on to that summer with your Canada Games experience, where was your Canada Games that summer?
It was in Manitoba.
And how'd you guys do there?
We came fourth. Not what we wanted. We really were expecting to go in there and win, but Manitoba was the host, obviously, and we played them in the semis.
And they probably had a lot of people there.
They brought a lot of people, and we just couldn't get it done.
Right.
Yeah, and then we went out in our bronze medal match and couldn't get that done either. So it's a damper on the end of that cycle, but us playing together, the bunch of girls, we have so many friendships now that are crazy.
And you guys also went to the high performance tournament in the US, right?
Yeah.
Now, what was that experience like? So obviously you're playing against like the best teams in the US, right?
Yeah, for sure. I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember exactly, but I do remember there are a lot of American teams that had these huge girls who were like towering over all of us, and they had so much power. And I think at the end of the day, what I realized was it really doesn't matter that stuff. It just matters how you play together and what you do. So I think that's what that high performance area taught me.
Right. And then I guess last but not least, what would be some advice you'd give to younger athletes?
There's a lot that I've learned throughout my playing career, but I think one of the things that you need to recognize is if you love the sport, that's going to push your drive, and that passion for your sport is going to make you want to work hard, and it's going to make you want to dedicate your time to it. And I think that for me is my biggest takeaway for anyone. Like, find something you love, because then that will guide how you want things to happen. You're not going to work hard if you don't love something at the end of the day. I think that's probably one of my biggest things.
Certainly. No, that's great. Well, thank you so much for being on. Best of luck next year.
Thank you.
Hopefully everyone has a season. We'll have to see what that looks like.
We'll see.
But best of luck, and hopefully this year you guys will get to compete at nationals, right?
Yes.
You guys got cut short there.
Yeah. Yes. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye. Have a good day, everyone.